Hey, welcome back. So what we're going to be talking about today is Ionic some more. And so last time we did favorite things, and it's just kind of an introduction to the Ionic framework. Today we're just going to kind of take the next small step. We're going to make Movie Quotes, which is an app we've made before. And what we're going to do with Movie Quotes is we're going to show you a couple things in Ionic. We're going to show you some more components, some of their things that look a little bit more native, like dialog boxes and table rows and things like that. We're also going to show you how to push pages on with their page navigation stack system. And it's just going to kind of be another light intro to Ionic. We're not going to get into the native plugin stuff, which is using the camera and the storage and things like that. We're just going to kind of keep it light, show you a little bit about Ionic. The idea being that if it's a framework you're interested in, you could have this head start into kind of learning more. Let's go and look at the app we're going to make. So it's going to be Movie Quotes, and you're going to have a way to add quotes with the dialogue. And tricks like this are something I really like about Ionic. You can see that on iOS it looks very different than what it does on Android, and they've really tried hard to make the pages look like these native apps, which is cool. So if we come over here, this is the deployed website. So this is just Fisher DS Ionic Movie Quotes. Firebase app. You can see right now I'm kind of viewing it as an Android device. And I can do things like add a quote. So if we wanted, yo, Adrian from Rocky, we could add that quote. And of course it will look different if I switched over to an iPhone. Let's go for an iPhone 6 here. Usually whenever I switch over, I also click refresh just because it gives me the best chance. And so you can see that this works. So this is yo, Adrian from iOS. So I just kind of cheated there on the name. And much like we did before, there it is as a website. We're also going to set it up as an iOS app. So this is the iOS app. And so you can see that it's got an icon. I went ahead and used the Rolls Home logo there. It's got a name under it and things like that. And what you can do from here is you can do all the same tasks. So you can click on one, which takes you into the detailed view. And then you could actually edit it in here if you wanted. So like I said, I'll click on it. I'll open up the keyboard here just to make it feel a little bit more like a native app, right? So I'll say native, and then I'll edit the quote, and you can see that gets pushed everywhere. You can also do it on Android. So I'll kind of shrink this down here to make it feel a little better. So this right here is on Android, and you can see that on Android what I've done is I've actually set it up two ways on Android. The ugly icon here is actually a native app. I know it doesn't really feel like it, but I didn't set the icon on that one. So this is a native app, and so this is how this is set up. And so you can see it takes a little while to load. And so we can say, Adrian from Android. And so you can see we can add a quote there. It comes through from Android. The other thing that I did in Android is I set it up as a progressive web app. And what a progressive web app is it's got an icon, so you can see this is my progressive web app over here. And it kind of feels like a native app, but the thing about the progressive web app is all you do is you visit the website. So I'm just on the website right now. And then when you add it to your home screen, then you can give it a name here. So it's we'll just call it Movie Quotes, or you can just leave it quotes if you wanted. So it says it was added to your home screen, so then I go find it. And what progressive web apps let you do is they let you basically bypass the app stores. And so they let you create a website and then add that website to your home screen. And they've done some things like web workers and things like that just to make it feel as much like a native app as they possibly can. Only downside is that iOS doesn't really support progressive web apps. They let you add bookmarks to your homepage, but they don't support all the crazy web worker feature things. And so you can still use progressive web apps, but on iOS they'll really just be websites, and then on Android they'll genuinely be progressive web apps. And the goal is to give you as many features as you could in a regular app, but with actually a web app. The thing I like about progressive web apps, and the thing Apple hates about them, is you bypass the app stores, right? So you no longer pay 30% for your in-app purchases or anything like that, which is why Apple is opposed to them and Google is okay with them, right? So let's go ahead and get started on this guy. So this is what we're going to make. It's going to be a movie quotes. We're going to deploy it in all these different ways. And so what I want to do in this video is just create the starting code. Now, normally what I've done throughout this course is I've gone to create the Git project first, and then I've cloned an empty repository. What I've discovered works a little better is to still go ahead and create the project. So I'll just create, Ionic Movie Quotes. And you can do this on Ada or GitHub. And the goal here is, to learn more about Ionic. Specifically, more native looking components like dialogues and tables. And then also pushing on new pages. Grammar kind of failed me there, but you get the idea. So dialogues, tables, and then pushing on new pages. So what I found actually kind of works a little bit better is to change the order of things. So you go to somewhere where you want this project to be. And then normally what I would do here is I would git clone, but I've decided that actually what works better is to do the Ionic start. And Ionic start is how you create a new project. So we'll call it, I'll call it Ionic Movie Quotes, why not? And then we used to put on the, you have to put on the blank, and then we used to put on the hyphen get, but I think with my new strategy, I'm going to not put the hyphen get on there. Would you like to integrate it with Cortova? Sure, why not? So I'll say yes to that. So that's kind of something that's changed in their Angular CLI that you can add that now. And you can see that it does do the npm install, so this is going to take a little bit. I'll let it finish, and then I'll come back. Cool, so mine finished there. It says, all kinds of things. It tells me how to Ionic serve and how to do Ionic Cordova things. So the first thing I want to do is I want to switch into that folder. So like in the past, we've had kind of like the Git folder and then the Angular folder inside of this. Now there's just one folder. And what I want to do to connect it to my remote is I'm going to say git remote add origin. So git is obviously the command we're using. Remote means, connect my local Git repository up to one in the cloud. And we're going to add a new one, and we're going to call it origin. So the one main connection is called origin. Now I'm going to go ahead and copy that URL thing like I've done in the past and paste it on here. And if you're using GitHub, it works much the same. It's probably harder to use with the GitHub desktop to do this tool. So just do this trick outside of GitHub desktop, then drag the folder into GitHub desktop if you want to do it that way. But there you can see that we've pushed it over. And if we say git status, it says we're on a nice clean branch. And then we'll say Ionic serve. And I'm also going to go ahead and open it up in Visual Code Studio. So I'll just say file open and I'll find that file. So here's my Ionic Movie Quotes. Oh, it looks like it made a node modules folder for me. That was kind of funny. I can go ahead and manually delete that. Just a little accident, I'm sure, of their system. So now I've got it open in Visual Code Studio. I did the Ionic serve somewhere else. If I click on this button that says push it to origin, now it should actually sync my repository up with the cloud. Kind of curious if it pushed the initial code into here. So if I come over to Ada and I refresh, you can see that it's all working fine now. So everything is set up the way that I wanted. And then if I come over and see about the serve, you can see that it says Ionic blank. And so if I inspect that, it looks like it's doing pretty well as well. If I want to just make a trivial change, just to kind of make sure that things are going fine, I would go into Source, App, Pages, Home, and where it says Ionic blank, I would just make that say the word Home. And if everything is going fine, you can see that it just changes to the word Home right there. And then you can see that I've got one commit. So this is a title change on the home page. I just want to make sure that everything was set up right with my Git integration. And so now I come back over here and it says, if I refresh this, it says title change on the home page. Everything is working out hunky-dory. All right, come back next time and we will start building up movie quotes. See you then. Bye.